yeah, it was funny. Your video, you were just so happy. You were like, "Oh, I'm happy to be here," and you were this horrible, incredibly frightening. That one's still a little bit too hot.
Yeah, that was what you know. The guys that were shooting the videos last time, they were like, it was really unnerving to hear you speak with just like a normal, happy voice, and for you to look like you were with like the red eyes and just the face and everything. It was just so odd.
Yeah.
And so when I finally made it to a mirror and was like, wow, this doesn't even feel like it's me. So that was really neat.
That's my breath. Right.
Minty.
Minty. Okay, good. I'm glad you said that. Always slightly concerned about how. Okay. All right. Wait before you press play. Let me do that one edge real quick.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people got to see your video before I saw it. So they were, sending me messages. I was like, what? What are you talking about? What happened?
Tales from the Geek has,
Huge following.
yeah, it's pretty big following and everything.
You're not recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tonight, whenever you go home, any little tidbits that may be left in your hair, I'll try to get most of it. But any little tidbits, it'll come right out with just a hot shower.
Mm-hmm.
This stuff is the easiest cleanup because it's like Jello, and it just comes out with warm water. As a matter of fact, if you had it on so many hours, it would just eventually plop right off your face because of the body heat you have. It melts like Jello.
Hmm.
So cleanup on these is nice. But again, they just don't last a long time. For example, I'm working on a Civil War film, and we're using a similar scar on the face, and it has to last like 9 hours because films take a long time just to record a few minutes. So we can't use gelatin. Do use silicone. All right, I think we're good.
It's kind of neat that you have to plan out what kind of prosthetic to use based on time constraints and everything
Yeah.
with what you're doing. I'm sure like climate, like, shooting out in the heat or something
Rain.
like that. The rain has a lot to do with that.
Absolutely. All right. So now I'm just going to make, because this is a different color than your natural skin, so I'm just going to bring a little bit of your natural color in. These are cream palettes by Mayron, so I love, they're theater based, so they last a really long time. I'm going to do a couple. The secret to realistic makeup is just like your normal skin. You don't have one color on your arm. You have blues, and you have some pinks, and you have a dark.
And he said, raise it up just a little. There we go.
So, in the real world,
Sorry.
you have blues, and you have some pinks, and you have some red spots, and you have freckles. So your skin should be the same way. If you're doing Halloween makeup, make sure not to paint your whole face, clown white, or unless you're doing a clown. But you just don't paint it one color. You do several colors until you get kind of a good match. So if his skin was Jello Topi, then I would be done in 10 minutes. But you have a couple different colors in your skin. A lot of people are always asking, how do you get started in makeup? There are some great schools. There are definitely some schools that offer special effects. Not everyone lives in LA or California and they can go to those schools. And also, not a lot of people say they can afford it. So, the greatest place I always recommend, it's kind of a dying, it's not as popular as it used to be, but your local stage companies, your high school theaters, local playhouses, they're always looking for volunteers. And the people that work in those films or those productions, they have years of knowledge that they would love to pass on to the next generation. So any of you that are interested in makeup, great place to start is your local playhouse. They have community playhouses, they have city playhouses. Get involved because there are makeup artists there that can teach you some very cool things. That's actually how I started. I started with an opera playhouse, and after the show was over, they said, hey, let me show you some cool monster stuff. And it took off from there. I was immediately just in love with how makeup works because I'd never worn makeup. I didn't know, which one goes on your lip and which one goes in your eyes, which one goes here or there. So it was cool to learn.
You said you started with zombies?
I did. So yeah. So I, let's see, my very first, I think my first monster I ever made was an orc. It was from like Lord of the Rings. So that was a pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. But just to learn the gore and the special effects, I was just immediately hooked. So if you can kind of see, he has some redness and some freckles, and he has this beard, 5 o'clock shadow. So you can kind of recreate all those different colors on his skin. For those of you on a budget, and I tell a lot of students this, the dollar store has a lot of beauty makeup, like foundations and concealers, and so for a couple dollars you can start with a few basics like foundations, and you can make somebody look very pale as if they're sick, or you can make somebody look a little bit too pink as if they've got an infection. So start with the cheap stuff, start with stuff to play with, grab some friends and let them come over, and you tell them you're going to give them a horrible poisoning on their face, or you're going to give them some kind of infectious disease, and of course they'll want to come over and play. The other thing is, try to make your makeup look as realistic as possible. So, a lot of medical books. As a matter of fact, when I was in school, we had to use medical books for almost all of our burns and scars, and so try to use something realistic. Google and Pinterest are a great reference for me. I always have a reference photo that I'm working from to recreate. So same thing for you. Try to find a really good injury photo, or a really good, as morbid as it sounds, but whenever I see a horrible car wreck, I immediately pull it up on the internet and try to see how bad the damages were, and see if that'll help me in my monster makeups.